Now we'll take a closer look at two of very important ancient kingdoms which we'll discuss. The first kingdom which we'll discuss is Magadha, and the second kingdom which we'll discuss it is Budgie. So we'll take a look at the Magadha kingdoms and the Budgie kingdoms, the two ancient kingdoms which were very prosperous during ancient times. So if you look at the kingdom of Magadha, it became the most important Mahajanapada. It's like you can compare the Mahajanapadas to the major metropolitan cities of the world, like Bengaluru, Mumbai, Chennai, Delhi, Kolkata, like that. I mean, even to some extent like New York, London, Paris, you can compare like that. The most important river in India, the Ganga river, also known as the Ganges and the Son rivers was flowing through them, and it was very useful for transporting goods, people and materials, water supplies, and also the land was very fertile because the rivers made the land very fertile, and people used to grow wonderful high quality crops like mainly rice, even to some extent wheat, but mainly it was rice, wheat, corn, barley, etc. But mainly it was rice. So the land was very fertile. Then we come to an important aspect of the Magadha kingdom. It was ruled by two very powerful rulers, Bimbisara and Ajatashatru. What they did was they were very powerful. They always tried to conquer the other Janapadas by all possible means so that they could extend their empires and they could rule more efficiently. So they always tried this during their lifetimes. They always tried to conquer all the nearby Janapadas by all possible means, and they brought them under their control, and they implemented a lot of efficient administrative techniques which we even use now. A lot of the Constitution of India we follow, a little bit, maybe to some extent we follow a lot of their points even in our modern day government administration as well. Ajatashatru means a person with no enemies. So that's why it's called Ajatashatru. He was so powerful that he either defeated all his enemies, or his enemies ran away, or his enemies became friends. I mean, that's what kings are meant for, right? You have to rule. There will be friends, there will be enemies, but these were very powerful rulers, and they also managed their kingdoms very efficiently. Then there was another very important ruler in the Magadha kingdom, He was called Mahapadmananda. He was another important ruler, and he extended his empire till northwestern India, like till modern day Afghanistan. That was called as northwestern India. To some extent, sometimes it's called as the Takshashila. It was the ancient name. And earlier, Rajgriha was capital of Magadha Empire for several years. And then Rajgriha means the home of the kings, the home of the Rajas. The kings shifted the capital from Rajgriha to Patliputra, which is the modern day Patna. And then Alexander the Great. Alexander the Great is considered the greatest king of all time. He ruled from Greece till India, till northwestern India, till the border of the Magadha Empire. So he came to attack India, but he was very much impressed by the Indians and the bravery of the Indians, and also his soldiers very tired from the war. So Alexander the Great became very good friends with India, with the Magadha Empire kings, and Indians and Greeks exchanged a lot of cultural values. This led to a lot of future trade relationships with India and mainly with the Europeans. So it was a great period of time in ancient history. And one of the later kings, Ashoka the Great. Ashoka the Great was also part of this kingdom. His father was Bindusara and his grandfather was Chandragupta Maurya. So Chandragupta Maurya met Alexander the Great and they became very good friends with him. So that's why Magadha Empire is very important in Indian history. And Ashoka the Great was a great king, which we will study in detail in later classes as well. The national emblem for India is the Ashok Chakra. So King Ashoka the Great, he gave us the Ashoka Chakra, that is the national emblem for our country, India. It has 4 lines. 3 lines you can see from the front, and 1 line is not visible from the front view. You have to turn back to see it. So that's the national emblem, that's the national seal of India, which we even now use it in the form of Ashok pillars in various cities. So even now we honor the Magadha Empire and especially King Ashoka the Great by using his seal, the Ashoka Chakra, which is an amazing trademark for India, and it's a great honor to use that Ashoka Chakra So it really makes us feel good as Indians, and it reminds us of Ashoka the Great and the great Magadha Empire, who even Alexander the Great, the greatest king of all time, respected and became great friends with India. So we really admire all those aspects when we look at the Ashoka Chakra, even in our currency notes. So that's a wonderful thing. The Magadha Empire is even now with us, even after so many thousands of years ago. So that's the beauty of history. That's why history is not just studying about dead people or the past. History is always there with us. So now we'll take a closer look at a different kingdom which was just right next to the Magadha Empire. It was known as the Budgie kingdom. So Budgie was another kingdom with its capital at Vaishali, Bihar. So Patliputra was also in Bihar. Vaishali was also in Bihar. They were not very much close with each other. They were against each other. So Magadha tried to attack Budgie. Although Budgie did not try to attack Magadha, but they were pretty good in defending. So there was a conflict going on between the kingdoms of Magadha and Budgie. So Budgie was another kingdom with its capital at Vaishali, Bihar. Here a different form of government known as a Gana or Sangha was there. In this system, many rulers ruled in this system. There was not just one king. Normally, if you look at the other kingdoms, one king was absolute. His words will be final. Although the king will be listening to advice from his noblemen, from his ministers before taking the final decision. Here, many rulers were there in this system. Each person is known as a Raja. Each person is a king. So they were a group of kings ruling together. So they performed rituals together, met in assemblies and ruled together. They were given equal rights. And during this period, wise saints were respected a lot. These Ganas or Sanghas listened to a lot of wise sages and like I would say learned scholars, and they were allowed to travel freely all throughout the country, and not only people, even the Rajas, they listened to their advice, and they had a wonderful time with them. These wise saints, they guided a lot of people efficiently. So both the Buddha and the Mahavira belong to the Ganas or Sanghas, and a famous Buddhist book called the Digha Nikaya, which contains some speeches of Lord Buddha or the Buddha, also known as the Enlightened One, was written around 2300 years ago. So in the meantime, like while this was happening far away in Greece, when Alexander the Great went back to Greece, and even before that slightly, a different form of government started to emerge. It was known as democracy. So democracy, the form of government which many countries including India uses nowadays, it was actually formed, this idea was formed long ago during the time of the ancient Greek people. So a new form of government called the democracy was formed in Greece around 2500 years ago. So the basic concept of democracy, like we all know, is democracy is the government for the people, by the people and of the people. So in which the people are the supreme, and we elect our own leaders so that he or she can take care of our needs and requirements. So this is a wonderful thing which happened during those times, during the time of the Magadha Empire and during the time of the Budgie Empire. They were contemporaries of each other. They were at the same time, but they were slightly in conflict with each other. However, they coexisted with each other to a large extent peacefully. So we took a closer look at Magadha and Budgie, and now we'll take a look at some of the important dates. New kinds of Rajas, which I mean in a different form, the Budgie system and many ruler system, it was introduced around 3000 years ago. Then Mahajanapadas was introduced around 2500 years ago. Then Alexander the Great, the greatest king of all time. So in other words, Alexander's invasion and the composition of the Digha Nikaya, a very important Buddhist book, was composed approximately 2300 years ago. This form of many rulers ruling together, it took a long time to end. But finally it ended. The end of the Ganas or Sanghas took place approximately 1500 years ago. So we took a closer look at the Magadha Empire and the Budgie Empire, and we also studied a few important dates. These are very, very important. So go through them and do some more research if you want, because history is all about knowing more and more, because knowledge is always limitless. So you can also try to know more about these kingdoms. And if you have any doubts or suggestions, please let us know in the comment section below. Thank you so much. Have a great day.